I'm coming at you live on tape from Sydney, Ohio. And today's movie is Snake. I think it's from Japan. Now, am I doing this because 2025 is the year of the snake? No, that never crossed my mind. I wish it had, because that would be really, really interesting. I did it because the basic description of the movie sounded interesting. It's about a guy traveling to a mysterious island where they encounter a giant snake. But there's more to it than that. We start out with the Japanese army on this island, and they encounter a giant snake. Then we go to modern day, and this guy is teaching biology in a school and feeds a mouse to a snake and immediately gets kicked out of the classroom. He is trying to teach the kids about the food chain, and that is why he is feeding a mouse to a snake. Now, when they were teaching us about the food chain, they brought in a chart. If they fed a mouse to a snake, we would have been excited. So then these two men come to his door. One reveals that they found something in his book, which he said is just something he wrote up for the school kids, called the blood apple, which looks like a strawberry. And it has miraculous healing powers. And they said they're going to put his daughter, who has bone cancer, in the hospital while they pay him to lead them to take him on this journey to find the blood apple. And he's on a boat now, going to this island that the guy who is paying for the expedition has named Rebirth Island. And this boat is full of mercenaries, and it has a captain. And I find out the guy paying for it is dying of esophageal cancer, and this is his only way to treat it. And he meets a doctor who wants nothing to do with him, and a fat Asian guy. You don't see fat Asian guys every day who don't do sumo, so this guy might be a sumo wrestler, who is the geologist. And a lady recording all of it for apparently posterity. And then they go in a fog. According to the fat Asian sumo wrestler guy, across the fog is Rebirth Island. But during the fog, they get attacked by flying piranha fish. I don't remember what they call them, but apparently, according to our main character, they only attack when being threatened or in mating season. So the fish are trying to mate with the guys on the boat / eat them. And these piranha fish kill a bunch of the mercenaries. And the remaining people either get inside, or like the chick with the knife who's just swinging it, take them out of the air, hides in a box. But when they get through the fog, the captain reveals he has to fix the boat because it was on overdrive for too long. Now, I don't know a lot about boats, but I know if I leave my car on overdrive for too long, it's still a car. So they go on land, and fat sumo wrestler guy reveals if they take this path for about 2 days, they'll get to the blood apple strawberry thing. But it'll take 3 days to fix the boat, and the blood apple strawberry thing will be ripe in 2 days. Now, I don't know if on the third day it just falls off the tree and is dead. But I know apples stay ripe on trees for longer than the day it ripes. So they decide to go through the woods. Our main character, Chin Lee, warns them that there will be danger going through the woods. And the captain is like, we're here to overcome danger. So immediately in going through the woods, they start to encounter danger. they encounter a small snake, the doctor does. At which point, one of the mercenaries cuts its head off and eats it. And then they encounter a very, very large snake. At which point, they open fire and then take cover. Our hero saves the knife-wielding lady by shoving a stick in the snake's mouth. And then he saves the doctor lady by pretty much knocking her to the ground and rolling with her, cutting his arm open, while the captain shoves a grenade in the snake's mouth and blows the snake's head off. Then they find what the snake is guarding. No, it's not a room for a golden treasure, it's her eggs, which the mercenaries then shoot. And then they move on, and we see an even bigger snake following them. They move shortly down the road, but we see on a boat a snake is killing the captain's crew. They move on the road, and they run into, I think this is where the captain finds them. And he comes through the woods and says, "You must go, we must go, we must leave." And Keating, who is the man in charge and dying of cancer, says, "No one leaves or no one gets paid," indicating that he won't pay them if they leave. They have to go on to get paid. Now they run into plants with vines that are trying to eat them. Keating gets caught, but a man cuts him loose. And then that man gets caught and ate by a plant. The captain gets caught, but the captain cuts himself loose. Chun-Li gets caught and pulls down fat sumo wrestler's pants to reveal his tiny, tiny dick. Because all fat men have tiny, tiny dicks. I'm kidding. We don't see his dick. We just see his underwear. The captain gets caught after saving the girl who's recording everything and dies. Chun-Li is saved by the knife-wielding lady. The doctor gets caught and is saved by Chun-Li and the knife-wielding lady. And Fatty just uses superhuman sumo strength to rip a plant apart by himself. Once again, people are like, we don't want to go on. But Keating shoots a man and says, everyone goes on. Now they run into this fruit that explodes. Remember the fruit that explodes. And then they figure out the blood apple strawberry thing is behind a mountain. Keating is barely holding it together, but they find it. And Keating orders a man to go get it, just as it ripens. And then a snake eats the man. Now the snake, before when they encountered it, it wasn't eating people. It was just biting them and dropping them. This snake is actually eating people. Now I have a theory about this. The first snake was female, and the female snakes are vegans, kind of like vegan vampires. You know, vegan vampires who suck on tomatoes instead of blood. The male snakes, which are the larger snakes, actually eat people. Kind of like werewolves who actually eat people and then chew on their bones. That's my theory. Needless to say, there's a big fight. Knife-wielding lady tries to fight it with a knife, but gets knocked out. The captain fights it with a gun and a knife. So if you ever want to see Asians fight giant snakes with knives, this is the movie for you. And then takes a grenade and blows up himself and the grenade in the snake's mouth, but the snake is fine. This is Super Snake. He is invincible to everything except kryptonite, and they forgot to pack the kryptonite. But Keating orders Chun-Li, our hero, to go get the blood apple strawberry thing. And he does, and he gives it to Keating, and they all run as the snake is weary from taking the grenade to the mouth. Because even Superman is weary after taking a missile to the face. The snake immediately follows them, at which point Keating abandons his handler and then shoots the doctor chick to try to get away. But the snake wraps him up and eats him, making him drop the blood apple strawberry thing, which clearly looks like it's made of styrofoam. Chun-Li gets it, gives it to the doctor, and says he will distract the snake so they can get away. Chun-Li goes back to where they found a bunch of the plant fruit grenade things and goes to set them off. But who's there instead? Crazy knife-wielding mercenary lady who sets them off before Chun-Li blows up herself and the snake, and Chun-Li is fine. And they all head back on the boat, though the captain's dead and nobody knows how to drive the boat. So they just make it up as they go along, going like this all the time, and like this on the speed thing. And they go, "Where's the gas pedal?" And that is the end of the movie. Now stick around through the credits, because there's an end credit scene where Chun-Li's snake bites the principal, who fires him as a biology teacher. And it also shows some of the guerrilla filmmaking they do behind the scenes. This movie is awesome. It's got flying piranha fish. It's got plants that eat people. It's got blowing up fruit plants. It's got giant snakes. It is an awesome movie. And it is in English. It is on Prime and Tubi. And there are 2 sequels, Snake 2 and Snake 3, which I have a feeling I will have to do someday. Snake 2 is on Tubi, only on Tubi, and Snake 3 is on Prime and Tubi. I assume they are also dubbed, but I don't know for sure. So join me later this week for the song I Knocked My Sister Up.